Hello and welcome back to another great episode of Being Well, the program that strives to create consciousness and awareness in the world and wants to make a positive contribution to humanity. I am Marihan and I will be your host. We all have days when we feel distressed, but do not worry. Today we're going to show you tapping for depression. After that, it's back to the kitchen with the lovely Aliyah. She's going to show us one of her favorite Moroccan recipes, tagine beef. After that, yoga instructor Dina Maddy is going to show us a yoga routine ideal for stretching the entire body. And at the end of the program, we will be watching a short film called Decontaminating Glastonbury. With the help of the Wellcome Trust, a decontamination unit was installed at Glastonbury to clean festival goers physically and morally. Let's take a look. Do you feel dejected, disheartened, and distressed at times? We all do, and this is okay, as long as it is for short periods. Ongoing stress can create a serious chemical imbalance in the brain, and that can lead to physical body pains. In today's Health Hub, Julie Schiffman is going to show us how to tap for depression. It is a great emotional freedom technique that can bring on the happiness. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Julie Schiffman, and today I'm going to show you how to address depression with EFT, emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping. If you've seen some of my previous videos or heard of EFT, then you're already aware that tapping can be an incredibly powerful tool to help relieve stress in general, but it can also help to clear out old negative emotions and patterns which keep you from really enjoying your life, regardless of what your experiences have been. If you are new to tapping, then I just want to briefly explain what it is. Tapping is a form of acupressure, but you don't need the needles. The emotional part of us and the physical part of us are completely connected. You cannot separate the two. In fact, you cannot possibly have an emotion without actually feeling it physically, someplace in your body. If you think about something that makes you angry, frustrated, or sad, you will instantly feel it someplace in your body. For example, you might feel a lump in your throat or pressure in your chest, maybe a pit in your stomach. These are all examples of how emotions are felt in your body. The cool thing about tapping is that when we tap on certain points on our body while tuning into a stress, negative emotions, or pain, it gets the energy moving in your body. It's very relaxing, and it's a way of acknowledging how you are feeling and allowing yourself to let go. The act of tapping literally allows your body to release the emotional connection to the thought or memory that was creating stress for you. It somehow pulls the plug, so to speak, on that trigger. Before we start, I want to make it very clear that depression is a very broad topic, and everyone experiences and processes emotions differently. I can ask 5 different people, 1,000 different people, what depression means for them. And although they might say similar things, such as feeling a sense of loss, loneliness, hopelessness, failure, or unhappiness, to name a few, all of these people have had different experiences and life stories. No 2 stories will ever be the same. Even if you have multiple people witness the same thing or grow up in the same family, each person has their own interpretation and perception, which may lead to various triggers throughout their life. People suffer from depression for a variety of reasons, obviously. There are people who experience depression because of life events, such as death of a loved one, divorce, a loss of a job, maybe financial stress, a health condition, or a traumatic experience. These people can typically pinpoint what has led up to feeling hopeless and ultimately depressed. Then there are people who have suffered from chronic depression their whole lives. They're not sure why they feel this way, but they recognize that they have been feeling depressed and can't connect it with life events. They may believe that they're depressed because members of their family have always been depressed. It's all they know. It runs in the family, or they believe it's genetic in some way. Whatever the reason, it is very real and very painful for them. The good news is that tapping can be such a profound tool in helping people to let go and finally feel free. As I mentioned before, those with depression commonly feel hopeless with no way out, or they feel they have to live with this. Maybe they have surrendered to using antidepressants because that's the only way for them to cope. Although I am not telling you to go off medication, I am telling you that I have seen over and over that it is possible to heal from depression and upsetting life events with tapping, to actually a point of feeling completely free, where you may no longer need medication to help you get through life. So let's get started. We're going to do a few different rounds of tapping to help you get started, or to at least help you to understand how to use tapping to help yourself. If you are suffering from severe depression, then I highly suggest that you reach out to someone for help. Tapping is widely known throughout the world at this point, and there are many practitioners out there who can help you. Remember, I don't know your specific issues and can only address this topic in general. If you need support, reach out. As always, please take responsibility for your own emotional and physical well-being. We're going to start with a round of tapping for how you are feeling right now. So take a moment and really tune in to how you are feeling. Many people describe depression as feeling hopeless, irritable, sad, anxious, feeling empty, a lack of motivation, or they feel as though that spark has gone out in their life. Which of these resonates with you? You may say all of them, but pick one for now for the purpose of this tapping. I'm going to insert the emotion of anger in this tapping demonstration because depression is internalized anger. If you are experiencing a different emotion, then use that instead. Where do you feel the emotion in your body? Take a mental inventory of your body. How does it feel? Do you feel some fogginess or pressure in your head? Maybe a lump in your throat, stress in your neck and shoulders? Maybe pressure in your chest? These are just some common examples, but use your own words as to how you feel. Write it down if you want so you can go back to it when we are done. Now I want you to address the intensity of the emotion. On the scale of 0 to 10, how intense is this emotion for you? 10 being the absolute worst, and 0 being that you are totally relaxed and feeling great. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you are probably somewhere in between. I am assuming you know the tapping points. If not, just follow along with me. I'll tell you where to tap and what to say. So we're going to start on this karate chop point on the side of either hand. It doesn't matter which one. And repeat after me. Even though I am feeling really angry, I accept myself anyway. Even though I have all this anger, but it hasn't felt safe to express it, I'm acknowledging how I feel. Even though I have this deep, deep anger, but I have internalized it for so long because nobody was listening, I am listening now, and I'm open to finally bursting the bubble on it and letting go. And we're going to tap through the points. All this anger, so much anger. I feel like I'm going to explode with all these emotions. I'm so angry. I feel like no one is there to listen to me. So much anger. I never knew I had the right to be angry. I feel it in my chest, my head, my throat. I have ignored it for so long. It's just gotten louder and louder. It won't be ignored anymore. It's time for me to really listen and address it. I'm open to letting it go. But it feels like there's so much. This will take forever. I have a right to be angry. What if I give myself permission to just let it go? That sounds way too easy. Maybe it's possible. At this point, I'll do anything. I'm willing to try. Maybe I can start to let go. It has to start with me. I am taking my power back, starting now. Peace. take a big deep breath in, tune into how that feels. Again, this is just a starting point. See what comes up for you and then address it if you can. You can do some of this on your own, but if it helps again to talk to someone, then you should do that. We're going to move on to something else. Oftentimes, people who are depressed talk about how hopeless they feel. Do you ever feel that way? Do you feel like things will never change and you don't know how to feel better? Do you feel like you are caught in a rut and have no power to make the changes because it depends on other people? If you said yes to any of these questions, then tune into how intense those feelings are for you. Where do you feel that in your body? When was the first time you felt that? You can tap along with me about these feelings, but you may also want to go back and address what these feelings might remind you of. It's so important to be specific with tapping. So if you are comfortable tapping on your own, you should do that. And for now, we're going to tap on feeling hopeless together. Tap on the side of your hand, the karate chop point. Even though I am really feeling hopeless, like my life is never going to get better, I accept how I feel about this, and I'm open to changing this story. Even though I feel so hopeless, I feel like I should be happy. I look around and see other happy people, but I just can't be happy. I'm depressed and feeling down. I realize this is where I am right now. Even though I am so tired of feeling this way, and I feel like I have no power to turn it around, I'm open to exploring the possibilities of looking within myself and feeling free. And we're going to tap through the points. I would really like to enjoy my life. I just don't know how. I can barely get out of bed in the morning. The moment I wake up, I dread what the day will bring. I want to pull the covers over my head, go back to sleep. I feel like I have no purpose. What's the point? I can't change the way things are. I have a hard time believing people when they tell me I can. I want to feel better. I think there was a time when I really enjoyed life. But now I hate this feeling. I feel so discouraged. What's the point? I feel so down. Nobody understands. I want to feel better. What will it take to feel better? I choose to believe that there is hope. I choose to connect with that part of me that really wants to feel better. I choose to connect with the things that I'm grateful for. And if you dig, you will find something, even if it's just breathing for today, and something else tomorrow. When I'm done tapping, maybe I can make a list of things that I am grateful for. It may just be one thing, or maybe I can come up with more. I'm raising my vibration in my body, even for a few minutes, when I connect with gratitude. Every little bit counts. I'm choosing to have faith and hope that I can pull through this. I am committed to taking the time and effort. But I have done so much already, and nothing works for me. But now I have this new tool called tapping, and I'm willing to give it a try. Can't hurt. And I am grateful for new opportunities. I am watching this and tapping along because I actually do have hope. I'm feeling calmer, more relaxed, hopeful. Peace. And again, take a big deep breath and see how that feels. What's coming up for you? You can keep a journal while you're tapping and write down what comes up and go back to it later if you want. Lastly, we're going to address a common theme for people in general, but very much for people who suffer with depression. The one common thing that everyone wants in this life is to feel loved, worthy of love. And oftentimes people feel like they are not good enough, like they have failed in some way and now they are not loved, nor do they deserve to be loved, which of course is not true. Regardless of who you are and what your past is and your story is, we all deserve to be loved. Does this resonate for you? Then the next tapping script is for you. Let's start tapping on the side of the hand. Even though I have this core limiting belief that I'm just not good enough, I accept that I feel this way. Even though I believe that I am not good enough and will never measure up, I'm listening to these thoughts and I'm opening to letting go. Even though it can be hard to accept who I am because I have this constant self-talk that I'm not good enough, I choose to love and approve of myself anyway, just for now, while I'm tapping, so I can let it go. I'm going to tap through the points. This core limiting belief that I'm not good enough. I'm just not good enough. I will never measure up. Measure up to what? I'm not even sure. Perfection? Who taught me that I need to be perfect to be loved? Maybe it was my mother, father, a teacher. Who told me I need to be perfect in order to be loved and accepted? I'm not good enough. I feel like a failure. Maybe a failure in relationships, a failure as a parent, a failure at work, a failure with my health, a failure within my finances. Maybe a failure with all these things, or maybe just one area. But it doesn't feel good. I really feel it in my stomach or my chest. I'm just acknowledging how I feel. Remembering it's just a story I've been telling myself, that I'm not good at doing things in my life. Maybe it's time to change the story. Whose story is this anyway? Who did it come from? Even if I do something I'm proud of, I keep raising the bar, telling myself I could have done it better. I wonder if I can get back to a place of feeling hopeful. I am okay. I am safe to let it go. Sometimes it doesn't feel safe, but it is. I'm making this a priority. Learning to love and approve of myself. Considering the possibilities that lie before me. It has to start with me. It has to start within me. I'm open to the possibilities. Things are looking hopeful. I'm ready to start. Starting now. Peace. Take one more big deep breath in and see how that feels. Keep tapping on this if necessary, and reach out for help if you need it. You are off to a great start. Stick with it. It's the only way you will start to feel better, is if you stick with it. You can't just think about it, you have to act on it. Tap every day, once a day, 5 times a day, 20 times if you need to, or reach out. You are worth it. Keep on tapping.
Hello and welcome back. In today's Cooking with Aliyah, she is going to show us how to bring the flavors of Morocco into our kitchens at home. She will prepare an easy Moroccan dish that is very popular, tagine beef with potatoes and olives. Enjoy!
Hi, this is Aliyah and welcome back to Cooking with with Aliya, the show that brings to you the flavors of Morocco. Today I'm going to show you how to make a super easy Moroccan dish that is very popular. Tagine of beef with potatoes and olives. Tagine is basically this Moroccan tool. It's made of clay pot. We cook the meat and vegetables in the bottom half of the tagine, then cover it, and it's slow cooked on very low heat, usually charcoal. But today I'm going to show you how to make the dish in a regular pot, like we do at home in Morocco in our regular days when we don't have time. Tagine, as I said, is the tool. However, over time, our dishes in Morocco took the name of the tool. So we always have a tagine of meat plus vegetables. So you find tagine of chicken with carrots, tagine of lamb with caramelized prunes, and today we're going to make tagine of beef with potatoes. It's super easy, you're going to really enjoy it with your family, and I'm ready to start. So let's go! For the ingredients, we will need 1 pound of beef. You can also use lamb instead. 1 pound is basically 500 grams. And 1 medium-sized onion grated. And when you grate the onion, make sure that you remove the water from the onion like this. I removed most of the water. And you just use a regular grater to grate the onions. For the spices, we have 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper, a quarter of a teaspoon of turmeric, and a pinch of saffron threads. If you don't have saffron threads, that's okay, you can skip it. Then we will need 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 3 garlic cloves crushed. On medium heat, using a regular large cooking pot, drizzle the olive oil. Add the onion. Add the meat. And the meat is cut in medium-sized pieces. Now add the spices and finally the garlic. Mix all the ingredients together so they're all incorporated. Then cover the pot and let the meat cook for around 5 minutes. The point is to brown the meat, stir it from time to time so it's browned from all other sides, and also the heat will get all the flavors of the spices out. So this is a really important step. After a few minutes, stir it and turn around the pieces of meat so the other side gets browned as well. So the meat changed colors, as you can see. We brown it really well. The smell here is amazing because all the spices now are releasing their flavors. We're going to cover the meat with water. Just enough for the meat to cook. So here I'm putting 2 cups of water, which is around 500 milliliters. Now cover your pan, increase the heat to medium-high, just a little bit, not too high, and keep the pan covered. We're going to cook the meat until done. So it will take around 45 to 50 minutes for the meat to be cooked. From time to time, check on the meat and add water if necessary. So if the level of water goes down, you'll have to add a little bit more for the meat to cook. So while the meat is cooking, we're going to prepare the potatoes. I'm using white potatoes. All I'm going to do is peel them, then cut them in medium-sized pieces and place them in cold water. The reason you put them in cold water is for the potatoes not to turn brown. And that's it. Because the potatoes I'm using are quite large, I'm going to cut them in half, then in quarters. If you're using small potatoes, then you just have to cut them in half. The potatoes don't need much time to cook, maybe around 10 minutes. So what we need to do first is cook the meat, which we've done. Wait till the meat is done, remove it from the pot, then replace it with the potatoes. So now we're going to cook the potatoes in the sauce, season it, add some water. That will take around 10 minutes for the potatoes to cook, and finally bring back the meat in the pot, and then we're ready to serve. The meat has been cooking for 30 minutes. As you can see, the level of water is lower now, so we need to add a little more. I'm going to add around 1 cup of water, just to make sure at least half of the meat is covered with water, and continue cooking it until done. So the meat's been cooking for around 1 hour. It would take between 45 minutes and 1 hour for the meat to be done. You can test the meat, you can just cut a piece. It should be really soft. See how soft it is. You can taste it. It's beautiful and juicy and smooth. So what we're going to do now is remove the meat from the sauce. And by the way, I've been adding water as the meat was cooking. So check on the level of water. The meat should at least be covered by half of the water. So put the meat in a bowl. This way we can cook the potatoes in the juice. Here are my potatoes in the water. As you can see, when we put them in the water, they did not turn brown. Great. And I'm going to place them in the pot. I'm going to add water for the potatoes to cook. Like this. And I'm also going to season the sauce, but let it cook first for around 5 minutes before we season it, so the water reduces. And you cover your pot and cook the potatoes on medium-high heat. After 5 minutes of cooking the potatoes on medium-high heat, we're going to taste the sauce and season it accordingly. So add salt, pepper, and a little bit of ginger. I tasted my sauce. The salt is perfect. I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper, just a little bit, and then a little bit of ginger. And that's it. I'm going to cover the pot and continue cooking my potatoes until they're done, when they become soft. The potatoes will be done between 10 and 15 minutes. You can test them. They're going to become soft and you can easily cut them with a fork. However, don't overcook them, otherwise they become really soft and mushy and you don't want that. At this point, I'm going to bring back the meat and heat it up in the sauce. Like that. I'm also going to add 10 green olives. These are cured olives. If you're looking for olives and you can find them, just look for Mediterranean style olives or Greek olives. They're cured in salty water. Increase the heat to high and cook the meat and potatoes on high heat for around 3 minutes and covered for the sauce to evaporate and reduce, so it's going to become thicker. Our tagine is ready. As you can see, the sauce became really silky and thick, and that's because it evaporated when we cooked it on high heat and not covered. And now we're ready to serve it. To serve the tagine, we first place the meat, then cover it with the potatoes and the sauce, and then finally decorate with the olives. First, place the meat on the plate, then the potatoes. And as you can see, the potatoes are not overcooked. They're very soft, but they still retain their shape, and that's important. Otherwise you get like mushy potatoes and you really don't want that. Then cover the meat and potatoes with this silky sauce. Ooh, yum. As well as the olives. Serve the tagine with crusty Moroccan bread or French baguette. It's so yummy. I hope you enjoy it. Bon appétit!
Hello and welcome back. In the yogic view, the body is a temple of a spirit. Through the practice of asanas, we develop a habit of discipline and the ability to concentrate. In today's yoga segment, we will explore yoga postures, stretching the entire body. Regardless of your fitness level, this yoga routine is beneficial for everyone. So take a look.
So go ahead and lie on your mat and we'll start in child's pose. So you want to have your knees a little bit further apart than your hips and your toes are touching. So go ahead and reach your arms forward and rest the crown of your head on the ground. Start breathing in through your nose and exhaling out through your nose. You want to think about keeping your breath the entire practice and keeping that smooth transition. Inhale and exhale. Yoga is all about the breath. Reach your arms forward a little bit more. Dig your fingertips into the earth. And also think about pulling your tailbone close to your ankles. If you would like to set an intention for your practice, a reason for coming on your mat today, go ahead and do so. We're going to take another few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Think of counting to 3 on your inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold it, and then exhale. 1, 2, 3. Give me one more, your deepest breath of the day. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold it at the top, and exhale, 2, 3. Now on your next inhale, bring up into tabletop position. Make sure that your shoulders and your wrists are in line, and your knees and your hips are in line. We'll start slowly with some cat-cows. So inhale, you want to drop your stomach down towards the ground. Think about reaching your belly button towards the ground and reaching your chest towards the sky, and gaze up. On an exhale, round your tailbone down and round your spine towards the sky. For your nice cat back. Reach your shoulder blades to the sky while gazing down between your knees. And then on your next inhale, gaze up and drop your belly towards the earth. And exhale, back down. Give me 2 more of these at your own pace. Inhaling on the way up, deep breaths. And then exhaling on the way down. Your last one right here. Inhale, arch your back, lift your chest to the sky, and exhale, tuck your tailbone underneath. Tuck your toes, reach your hips towards the sky, and come back into your first downward dog. Pedal your left and your right feet, really trying to reach those heels towards the ground, thinking about pressing your chest towards your upper thighs, placing your palms flat on the ground. Your palms should be flat and outstretched wide, your middle finger facing the front of the mat. Your shoulders are engaged but dropped away from your ears. You should feel this in your hamstrings, your calves, and also in your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, open mouth. Give me one other lion's breath. Inhale deeply. And exhale, open mouth. Give me a deep lion's breath. Now on an inhale, shift your weight towards your plank position. Your core is tight, your glutes are tight. You want to make sure that your shoulders are in line with your wrists. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in. Think about your entire body as one solid plank. Your legs, your arms, your core, everything is engaged. You want to think about looking at the top of your mat. One more inhale, and then an exhale, back to downward dog. Go ahead and pedal your feet. Left, right, and left, and right. Heels towards the ground, and back towards the plank. We'll get into a little bit of upper body work here. If you would like to drop your knees to make it easier, that's fine. Or stay all the way up. Bring it down halfway. Want to keep your elbows in, close to your sides. And then on an exhale, back up. Inhale, back to downward dog, and pedal your feet one more time. We're going to go through that one more time. So you can stay in plank position, or you can go on your knees. On an inhale, bring it forward to your solid plank position. You can feel free to drop your knees. And exhale, down. Inhale, back up. If you dropped your knees, tuck your toes and bring it back up to a plank. And then exhale, back to downward dog. Take your right foot and lift it high above the ground, keeping your hips facing towards the ground. So no opening up your hips quite yet. Keep it down. Your toes should be flexed, pointed down towards the ground. Breathe right here. Now go ahead on an inhale and open up your hips and reach your legs sky high. Point your toes. And on an exhale, come forward and bring your foot in between your palms. You want to check your knee and make sure that your knee is not going beyond your ankle. And make sure that both your left and your right foot have their own lane within your mat. So make sure that your knee is not extending beyond your ankle. And drop your knee and let that top of the foot meet the mat. So inhale up, and you want to think of your arms reaching towards the sky, your fingertips slightly in. So dig in towards that right hip. You want to lean forward, squeeze your glute, squeeze your left glute. That should be active. If your knee hurts, you can always take just a little towel and place it underneath. But if your knee hurts, you also want to make sure that you're on the very, very top of your knee and not on the middle of it. So sink in towards that right hip, really opening up those hips, dropping your shoulders below your ears, really, really stretching your shoulders away from your ears, and gaze up. Another inhale. Give me one more deep breath. Inhale, 2, 3, and on your next exhale, place your palms around your feet. Lift your knee up. Remove that towel if you need to. And then take your right foot back to plank. If you'd like to drop your knees, you can. We're gonna go ahead and get into another little push-up. So inhale, just drop down about halfway, keeping your elbows in tight, lifting up your chin and gazing ahead of your mat. And exhale, push it up. And inhale back to downward dog. Pedal your feet left and right, stretching out those calves. Always think of breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Yoga is a lifetime journey, so don't ever be upset if you can't get a pose or if it's difficult. And always know if it's not difficult enough, there's always challenges and variations. Take your left foot up. Keep it at your hip, keep it closed. Your left toes pointing towards the ground. You're going to think of really sinking in that right ankle and right heel towards the earth. And flexing that foot. And on an inhale, open up and point your toe towards the sky. Really opening up those hips. And then on an exhale, bring it forward in between your palms, making sure that your knee is in line with your ankle. Kind of bounce a little bit in that position, sink a little bit lower, making sure that your left foot and your right foot have their own separate lane on your mat. And then drop your right knee. And inhale, bring those arms up towards the sky, lifting your chest towards the sky. We think about that intention and why you decided to get on the mat today, and remind yourself of what you're doing for your body, what you're doing for your future and your health. And then exhale, down to the ground. Tuck that right toe underneath, and then back to plank position. We'll do one more push-up. So try to do it on your hands if possible. If not, it's perfectly okay to go to your knees. Exhale down, 2, 3, hold to 5, and back up. Tuck your toes underneath and back up. Take a couple more breaths here at your own pace in downward dog, making sure to really stretch your chest towards the tops of your thighs. Thinking about sinking your heels down. If they don't touch the ground yet, that's fine. If they're high up, just try to keep them close to the ground. And then knees down. And we're going to finish here with a few cat-cows. So inhale, arch your back. Feel the difference between when you started these today and when you're ending. And then exhale, notice the differences in your body from when you began and now. Inhale, do a few more at your own pace, moving with your breath. Inhale, Arch your back. And then exhale, tuck it underneath and squeeze your spine towards the sky. And then neutral back. We'll end in child's pose. You can either leave your knees in and go back towards the toes. There's multiple variations of child's pose. And we'll keep our arms at our sides, touching the crown of your head on the mat and thanking your body for what it did for you today. If you felt this, if it felt like it helped you, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Namaste.
Hello and welcome back. As part of the Dirt Season's appearance at music festivals this year, the Wellcome Trust supported an installation run by the Gorilla Science which explored dirt. Set in the Shangri-La field, the installation took form of a decontamination unit that cleansed festival goers morally and physically. Take a look.
Come with us to the new world. Only the clean can leave.
Apparently we were decontaminated.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah.
We have proof of it.
Clean.
It was quite an experience. Thoroughly clean behind my ears and my ankles, and I feel much better for it now.
Welcome to Shangri-La. Trouble, then you may be contaminated. Please report to your nearest decontamination booth now. You heard me, folks, now.
The narrative behind Shangri-La this year is that there's been an outbreak of a virus. It's very apocalyptic. So the decontamination unit is the place where you can be free of the threat of disease. And so to do that and to achieve the decontaminated status, you have to go through one of two processes. You can either become physically decontaminated or psychologically decontaminated.
Now, the virus, it's going to be wiping out your good bacteria, and these are bacteria that you need to survive. You will have been colonized with them from birth, and you will have evolved with them. They can't live without you, and you cannot live without them. What's going to be making the virus worse is that guilt helps the virus spread. So we're asking people if they're feeling a little bit guilty, maybe a little bit shameful, if they're questioning their own moral character, and if they think they could purge some deep, dark secrets. And if they agree that that sounds like them, we send them through the moral decontamination. If they think that maybe they have good moral character, then we suggest that maybe they want to undergo physical decontamination just to make sure to get through and get rid of all of the virus.
So with the physical decontamination route, the first thing you do is you go into a scanning room.
I was physically decontaminated. Again, they made me remove all my clothing, stuck me in a chamber.
It's quite a mix of theatre, science and performance art. We're playing with people essentially as they go through the process, and that is done through one-way mirrors, it's done through people talking to the punters via megaphones.
Sorry to send you in there, Jane. It's the worst case I've ever seen.
It's quite humorous, but at the same time slightly sinister, and that fits in with the Shangri-La vibe.
Please leave, you are now clean.
And then they exit into the last chamber, which is where they get a shot, a wristband pronouncing them clean, and then they can go into the skywalk, which leads into the slumber rave, which is at the other end of the field, and it's basically a pyjama party, but only the clean can attend. With the psychological decontamination route, they enter this room, which is set up as a therapy session with real psychiatrists.
This is the psychological decontamination side of the route. Next door is a microphone, and it will be your chance to say something into the ether, something that's been on your mind, maybe something you haven't been able to tell somebody close to you or somebody in your life. This is a chance to think what that might be, who that might be, if there's anything that's been niggling.
So this preparation room is kind of helping the audience find out what that shame and guilt is within their own lives and prepare them to confess it into the box on the white plinth next door. So it's about 10 minutes in here, and then they go next door to share their dirty secret into the microphone, which then gets broadcast across the way in the quarantine zone in a wall of speakers.
Welcome, cleansed individual, to a cleaner, brighter Shangri-La. Here is your cleansing shot to finish the decontamination process.
I wasn't expecting that people would ask so many questions about the science. I mean, I'm telling them things like, you have, a kilogram of bacteria in your gut, and they're thinking, am I making it up, am I not? And I think people are actually getting quite interested in the science behind it as well as the general experience.
When people are brought into an environment where there is an apparently authoritative psychiatric interview going on, they very rapidly switch into sincerity mode, and we can actually genuinely use this as a chance for people to admit and face up to some aspects of themselves they wouldn't like to have felt they could do otherwise. It's a kind of a safe place to actually be serious in a very fun-filled way.
The concept has been strong enough to capture everyone's imagination, so then it becomes very easy to work with, say, for example, microbiologists or psychiatrists, and kind of bring them on board in a way that isn't tokenistic. It shows such great potential for future kind of immersive experiences.
Surreal, very surreal.
But also quite good fun.
You may experience the following symptoms: perverted habits of thought, a tendency to cause trouble, a tendency to self-medicate through the use of narcotics, excessive, pathologic or uncontrollable sexual desire, eccentricity of character.
So we've come to the end of the show. Remember to follow your passion and live your bliss. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next show. Take care and be well.